It's Andrew Boltbros here. I wanted to do a little different video today, breaking down quarterback rules, right? And we always talk about this, and we kind of ask ourselves this question: where does our quarterback, specific for the team that we root for, where does it sit? Um, how high up, how down are they? Well, the Athletic did a really cool breakdown, and it's fairly controversial. I actually think it's extremely well written, and it breaks down a lot about each quarterback and each quarterback tier. They came out with 5 tiers of quarterback rankings, and I'm going to go through those with you right now, right? And so let me go to my PowerPoint presentation, kind of bring it up. All right, so let's go to tier 1. I think this is really interesting when you look at the list of where these all stack up. I'm going to go through each one of these on every single one of these tiers. And I'm just going to give you my opinion. Again, Aaron Rodgers, I would argue, is the best quarterback in the league. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Patrick Mahomes, come on, not a whole lot needs to be said. The GOAT, Tom Brady, not a whole lot needs to be said, right? These guys have teams around them. The only person I think may have an off year would be Aaron Rodgers. He did get rid of a lot of weapons. Devontae Adams being one, went to the Raiders. So I think he may have a bit of an off year, but I'll tell you right now, he's amazing. He's literally a fantastic quarterback. He deserves to be number one, in my opinion. Josh Allen, obviously, we know he's up and coming, doing well. Arguably one of the best teams in the league. Now we go Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. It's interesting to me because obviously, I'm a big Justin Herbert fan, but I see so many articles talk about Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I promise you, Justin Herbert's above Joe Burrow largely because of the Raiders game at the end of last season. Almost 100% would say that. I mean, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl, for God's sakes, right? Why is he underneath Justin Herbert? I just think people believe Justin Herbert can be the guy to win the game in the fourth quarter. And again, the whole point of tier 1, these are the elites and these are the perennial contenders. What I mean by that in the article, it breaks down specifically, these are the guys in the fourth quarter that will win the game for you, okay? No matter at any given moment, any given day, any given time. And that's what I see here on this list, right? I would take these 6 guys over anybody else in the league. What do you guys think? Agree or disagree? I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are. All right, so let's go to number 2. Tier 2 they're good quarterbacks. They're Super Bowl champs. They're controversial quarterbacks, but they don't quite have the juice like a tier 1, right? Fourth quarter, they'll win you some, they'll lose you some, yada, right? They don't quite stack up 100%. So let's look at the list. Matthew Stafford. Guys, I agree with that. It's been interesting because there's some talk that he has some elbow issues. Keep saying it doesn't bother him or whatever, but look, he's getting older. He's definitely there in that type of camp where, yeah, he's not exactly, the best. But I will say this, he's really good. He won't lose you the game necessarily. But, he also had an amazing team around him. We all know that, right? So Russell Wilson, interesting. He's part of our division. Look, I just don't see – he's on the declining of his career. I still think he's very good, but Russell Wilson 5 years ago was a better quarterback. Deshaun Watson, we don't even know if that guy's going to play this season. Lamar Jackson's really an interesting one. He's a great athlete, but at the end of the day, he's not really a quarterback. He's more of a running back, and he throws the ball. He reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow. I hated Tim Tebow. He was such a frustrating person to watch play because he would miss open wide receivers constantly. He just wasn't that good. He's a great athlete, but not really a quarterback. Dak Prescott, good quarterback, not a great quarterback. Derek Carr, again, in the AFC West. I think this is a fairly accurate number for him, right? I think he's good, not great, right? And again, he's lucky he's got a very good team around him, and they got better pass rushing now. Obviously, they got Devontae Adams. They played college together. So really interesting to see. Kyler Murray, I actually think he could be a little further down the list. Again, he's a great athlete. He reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's really that good or that accurate of a quarterback. But at the end of the day, he's good, not great, right? Again, top 15 is still awesome, but, I think he's lucky that he's on a really good team. And then obviously Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, look, I would probably put him lower, but he's lucky he's on a good team. And again, this is where tier 2 makes sense, right? Again, Super Bowl champs. They've won some big games, controversial. They're good, not amazing. you know, they'll win you games, right? But you need to have a team around them is really the best way of saying. And a lot of people really do think that you know, folks like Kyler Murray probably a little bit paid. Derek Carr, I think, is definitely a bit overpaid, but it makes sense. This ranks, we'll see how it plays out. All right, so let's move on to tier three. This is where it gets kind of interesting. You're kind of splitting hairs at this point, right? You're kind of looking at, okay, why is this person here? Why is this person there? Well, this is really, you're really mid tier, right? You're good, not great. You do things well, but you really need a system around you to be successful, right? Obviously, tier one, you're just going to always be elite. You're always going to, throw for 5,000 yards, a season. You're going to be successful as a quarterback. You're going to score points. Tier two, good, not amazing. Tier three, you're just kind of middle of the pack. You're really just there. The interesting thing about this, you got a lot of young bucks and we got a lot of old ponies, right? And people kind of, having good years, but kind of on their declining parts of their careers at this point, right? So let's go through this. All right, so Kirk Cousins, look, he's good, not great, in my opinion. I've always thought like you got to have some people around him to be successful, and luckily the Vikings have that for him. Jimmy G, gosh, who knows where this guy's even going to end up, right? Is he going to still be with the Niners, or are you going to move on? Who knows? Tannehill, or Tana Thrills, people like to say. I don't know. I mean, he's lucky they got a great running game. Their defense is always good, right? And then you got Mac Jones, right? Mac Jones, look, who knows? I think he should probably be more like a tier two. I think he did well last year. I think he's a very good quarterback, and I think he will be good. But he's not the overly flashy type of quarterback, right? He's really not a tier one, but I think maybe a tier two, a 14 or a 13 makes some sense to me. Baker Mayfield, yeah, who knows how much longer this guy's even got in the league, right? He's got some shoulder issues. He's still hanging on for dear life. Jalen Hurts, brand new. Carson Wentz, I don't know. Jared Goff, man, I never really liked that guy to begin with. He's on a horrible team, not a whole lot to say there. Trevor Lawrence, another guy on a horrible team. Yes, they made some major splashes in free agency. But, we'll see what he can do, right? Then you got Jameis Winston, who's, again, mid-tier guys, right? This is where it stands up. And again, agree or disagree with me. What do you think? I mean, I'm telling you what I think, right? I want to hear what you think. Am I way off? Agree or disagree with me, right? But again, I think this is fairly accurate, right? They're mid-tier quarterbacks. They need systems around them to be successful. And anyways, we're going to go to tier four. Tier four is essentially, these are sort of the journeymen, right? These are people that haven't quite hit their stride, fairly young, and definitely getting old, right? So these are the people that really have yet to prove themselves, high draft picks, but then also people that, quite frankly, are on the declining edge of their career, right? So let's just go through it. Justin Fields, I think he's a good quarterback. He's on a terrible team. So not a whole lot to say there. Tua, look, thank God the fish drafted him over Justin Herbert. I mean, I think my lucky stars, we don't have Tua as our quarterback, but you know what? Tua is, he's yet to prove himself, right? That's the thing that I find so interesting about him, right? And this one's kind of controversial for me. Davis Mills, again, we lost to him last year. He has shown some very nice moxie, right? He's done it. I like him as a quarterback. I mean, I would love to see him move up, right? I mean, he's not on a great team. We all know that. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Zach Wilson, look, I think he was on a horrible team last year. They did very well in the draft. It's his time to shine. It's the second year. He's got to step up, right? And so we'll see what happens. Now, this one's kind of interesting too, right? Trey Lance has done nothing. I have a friend of mine who is a Niners fan. When I was chatting with them, and they're like, "Oh, Trey Lance needs a shot." I'm like, "Look, you got Jimmy G. Jimmy G is a great quarterback. He's not amazing, but he'll win you games." And I don't know. You go somewhere like a Trey Lance. I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense to me, but we'll see what happens. So, personally, I would probably rank him lower than this, largely because he hasn't done anything in the NFL. I don't even understand why he's even a tier four. He's pretty much not done a whole lot. Daniel Jones, oh my gosh, I think that guy's a train wreck. I'll tell you right now, if you're a Giants fan, it's not good for you guys. That guy is not the guy for you at all. I even saw some video of him in camp just recently. Man, he is just missing open targets left and right. I see nothing there to lead me to believe that you have anybody there that's going to be successful with Daniel Jones. You're just not going to. Obviously, Mariota, he's on the declining end of his career. Sam Darnold just hasn't gotten it done. Mitch Trubisky, exact same thing. Who knows? The rookie might get the nod over him. I think Trubisky will probably start if I'm a Steelers fan, but who knows? And then we come to Drew Lock. Drew Lock is such an interesting person to me, right? I mean, he was, well, we all know he was on the Broncos last year, and he's just not that good, right? And you got to look at him and go, well, who knows? Seahawks, he's probably going to be their starting quarterback, but who knows, right? I think it's really interesting to see this breakdown. And by the way, there is a tier 5, and it's interesting that the tier 5 one kind of cracks me up. And I'll just show it to you. It's our boy Geno Smith. Cracks me up. Why do we even need a tier 5? I don't even understand that. Why don't you just make it a tier 4 and add him into it? I guess the whole point is they just felt like, I don't know. They just want to disrespect him or what, but I just kind of find it funny that they even have him down there. So, if you're a Seahawks fan, holy smokes, you got bad and worse, right, as your quarterback choices. So it's going to be a rough year for you guys this year. Look, we all know we're a passing league, and if you're not passing the ball well, which Drew Lock and Geno Smith don't do very well, you're not going to get very far in this league, right? So I'm going to break down one other last thought here. I know the video is getting a little long. I don't want to be too long-winded about this, but this is an interesting statistic. I talked about this last week, and it's really I find it to be a very interesting bit of information, and this came from our way on Twitter. I can also put a link in the description below for this as well too. This is average target depth and average time to release the ball at quarterback. This is a great little breakdown for all the quarterbacks in the leagues. And again, it just goes to show you, if you're a running quarterback, you look up here, Lamar Jackson, all these folks right here, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, James. I mean, these guys want to throw the ball and run around, right? And that's what they do. They hold the ball too long and they try to go for the deep pass. Problem is, you look at a lot of these guys, they're not that accurate, right? Russell Wilson's had great years. Lamar Jackson, I'd argue, really is a running back. He's a great athlete, but not really the right guy. Zach Wilson has yet to prove himself. Jalen Hurts, same thing. Josh Allen's excellent. I kind of find him as a little bit of a kind of an outlier here because he does try to go deep with the ball. But it's interesting when you look at some of these folks. You got Geno Smith. We already talked about him, Sam Darnold, and it kind of breaks down. Look at old the GOAT here, Tom Brady. He throws the ball deep and he gets the ball out of his hands fast. Guys, that is the NFL, and that is what it takes to be successful in this game. As a quarterback, right, you have to remember that at the end of the day, the pass rush is going to come in hot, right? We've already discussed this about the Chargers. We got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. You're AFC West or anybody, facing us, you got to get the ball out of your hand quick. And if you don't do it, you're going to get crunched, right? You're going to get absolutely demolished. It's going to be a rough day for you. So it's really interesting to see how these quarterbacks stack up. It's interesting because Tua's right down here. He's actually looking pretty good. Kirk Cousins is great. That's probably why he's pretty high. Look at our boy Justin Herbert. He does hold the ball probably a little longer than I would like. But again, he's definitely going to break that down, I think, a little bit more this next year. So it'll be very interesting to see. But, good old Ben, get the ball out of your hands, short plays, right? I thought that was really interesting. So very cool. Very, very cool looking at this information. So, guys, that's all I have for you. I wanted to just break that down. Let me know what you guys think, right? I would love it if you guys said, hey, you're crazy. Those stats are wrong. They look stupid. Agree or disagree with me. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to see, what your thoughts are. Add some more context to it as well, too. Is there something I missed? But again, guys, as always, bolt up, don't punt. See you next one.